Hello. Today I'll be going over my low champion sorcerer build for healing. This build was designed to provide a moderate amount of healing roll to the sorcerer without tedious grinding or expensive trades that might come with best in slot. This build is meant for people 160 or below because the armor isn't very good, however it is not hard to get and you can get in mass quantity. Alright, first things first, character strat sheet. My character is a high elf vampire. I have all 64 attribute points into magicka. You can be casting a lot of spells and you don't want to ran out of magicka. It's really going to slow you down with healing your team. And if you're doing a veteran dungeon with people who are kind of new, it's really going to slow you down, maybe even fail a few runs. With this build, we're looking at 42.9% spell critical, which is okay. I'll explain later why this isn't optimal and how it could easily be fixed with a little bit more time and effort. We're also sitting at a slightly above average spell damage due to the set that I am wearing 4-piece of. So if you don't know how critical and spell damage works, I suggest you Google it. It's very important for healers to have high critical chance. I myself do not. However, I think the way I have my build set up, I'm able to avoid this. So, alongside with the character stat sheets, we've got gear. Gear, important. Most people, like the friends that I run ESO with, really don't think gear is important. They just put on the highest level, best color set, whatever, to look cool and have good armor. However, as you get higher into ESO, you're going to start to realize sets are what make and break your fun in this game. Currently, I am in between a shift of sets. My character used to be a DPS tank. Now I'm trying to shift into healing, so I don't have quite the right pieces. However, I think what I'm rocking with is very good. First things first, I've got a restoration staff. You can use any. I prefer getting a restoration staff of a set that I like. However, I'm using Undaunted Bastion just to fill up slot space. Secondly, on my back bar, I have a destruction staff, lightning. Very important that you run with lightning. Other things like fire and frost, they both do, damage equations. Frost slow people down, fire just does extra. However, lightning adds concussion, which really chains well with stopping your team from taking damage and being able to heal up while there's a slight break in, attacks. The first thing that I want to mention, since this is a very easy thing to get, Spider Cultist set. It is the 4-piece that I'm running to really help with critical. You get it from doing Fungal Grotto 1 and 2, normal or veteran. It's very, very potent. Spider Cowl set number 1 adds critical. When you get the 2-piece adds critical, 3-piece adds maximum magicka, which is always helpful. It just lowers, your chance of you running out and not being able to heal. Number 4 is extra spell damage, which is not quite what I need, however, it's useful. If I had the 5-piece, this would be more of a DPS set, which isn't bad at all by any means. However, it's not optimal for a healing build. The jewelry I'm running is just fill-in pieces alongside with a few of my armor bits. They're just fill-in. They don't work with each other, but it's to give me the light armor bonus. The monster set, however, that I'm using is very important. The Bogdan Night Flame now. My set has no healing capabilities because I'm using Spider Cultist just for the slight critical and damage boost. Bogdan Night Flame really, really helps out. The first bit adds extra magicka, which you can expect from almost every set with the first 1 or 2 pieces. It's okay, whatever. The second bit, though, when you heal a friendly target, you have a 5% chance to summon a totem for 6 seconds, which heals you and allies within 5 meters for 3,321 health every second. This can only affect every 6 seconds. So every 6 seconds, you're getting 3,000 healing. It's very, very useful. However, the set that I'm running is in heavy and medium, which is both not helpful in any way. It really brings down the critical chance of my build, which is another reason why I'm bringing in the spider set, because I don't want to have to run through Elden Hollow 2 on veteran difficulty, mind you, as a vampire to get the improved set. It's okay. But this is really the bread and butter. You're going to want to spam a few of your healing abilities until you get this up and switch to your DPS bar. Throw it all out so your team isn't taking damage because of the concussion effect, and then switch back once the totem is about to fail. To really explain how else this set will work, we need to go into the skills of the build. Alright, Like I said in the character spreadsheet, I'm rocking with a sorcerer high elf now. This does come to play in my stats quite a bit and my skills as well. Uh, I mainly picked sorcerer for this build for one ability I cannot shake. Is very useful indeed. Dark conversion. Dark conversion is like a restoration staff on like a metric ton of speed. It gives you crap tons of health. For me, it's almost half a bar, maybe a little more. And it gives you a decent pot of magicka back at the cost of very little stamina. Now, I guess if you're running a mixed build, this might be a little bit more hindrance than help. However, my build does not rock with stamina at all. The only stamina you use is maybe to sprint out of like an AoE attack or something. So there's no negatives to this very positive ability. Now, the rest of things that I have on my main bar to trigger Bogdan is Illustrious Healing. This is a big AoE circle that you just plonk down in front of your team when you're running like around a boss or like a bunch of ads. Just does slow healing over time. I think it's one heal every second, so it's okay. This you put down, like I said, at the start of any fight, boss fight, or if you're trying to like activate Bogdan, you can throw this behind on AI people helping you, and I think that triggers Bogdan quite well. Mutagen. This is a very unique ability in the fact that it kind of has two purposes. The one that I use it for is the second ability. You share the staff's life-giving energy, giving about 10k healing over 20 seconds. Now, over 20 seconds, that's trash. 10k healing I can probably pump out in maybe a second, 2 seconds if I really needed to. This is terrible for the overhealing effect. However, it's an oh shit button if your tank takes too much damage during an ad, a boss fight, or anything like that. Whenever someone drops below 30% health and you cast this ability onto them, it heals them for 6k health instantly and drops the over 20-second function. Now this is fantastic. You can spam it all the time. It hits 2 people, so it's really 10% per cast to trigger Bogdan Nightflame, which is where you're going to get your majority source of healing from, and allows you to switch into DPS mode and help keep your team alive. It also slightly increases health regen, which is kind of useful, but I don't know. Since I'm doing all this healing, I don't really need to have health regen as a concern. Blessing of Restoration. This is a personal healing ability that really keeps me alive. You slam down your staff and activate its blessings, healing everyone around you, or in front of you, shall I say, for 4k health. This isn't as great as the Bogdan effect, which just triggers sometimes here and there. This will be your majority. Someone's kind of getting a little low and they're in front of you, slam it down, it'll heal you. Now the second part of it is what I'm most concerned about and is really meant for me. When I heal someone else, it gives me minor resolve, which is like more armor, and heals me for the same amount, I am pretty certain. So if I'm getting swarmed by ads, goblins, spiders, whatever happens in Fungal Grotto, that's what I run the most, I could slam this down in front of me and hope someone's there. It'll heal me enough and gives me enough resolve to get out of the mob and loop back behind my tank where I feel safe. The fourth ability, Dampen Magic. This is mandatory if you're a vampire. Gives you 10k damage shield for 6 seconds, which, need I say, is very useful for a vampire. A lot of boss fights run with fire damage. It's just like a common thing. Fire damage on the floor, avoid it, whatever. I take 25% extra damage from fire, and when fire already does like 8k, do the math, that's a butt fuck in my ass. I don't like that. I plop this down, and it gives me enough of a damage shield that I'm able to get away from any fire threat to leave like that area, loop back behind my tank. Like I said, I'm safe there. Nothing can hurt me. Dark Conversion, I have this on both bars, already explained. It's a god blessing. Suppression Field. This is an ultimate that is very subjective for this build. Suppression Field, when you activate it, it's a little reticle area, kind of like Illustrious Healing. You plunk it down. Any normal ads and not boss enemies will be put into a stun for 12 seconds. They cannot get up and they will take damage. This is just like a concussion, except it lasts very long, and it's very useful if people are getting overwhelmed, they're taking too much damage, they're constantly getting stunned, locked, or knocked down, silenced, that type of stuff from ads. You plunk this down in the group of ads. They can't do anything back. It allows your team to get back off your feet and focus on bigger targets or just clear out the ads nice and safe. Now, weapon swap, back bar. This is mandatory that you have a lightning staff, like I said. Concussions, keeps everyone off the battlefield. Fantastic. The first ability that we have on here is Blockade of Storms. This is your general AoE. You put it down, and in front of you comes a carpet of electricity doing 1,000 shock damage every second. Someone in there, if the enemy just gets steps in there, it's a second of being concussed and off balance for 4 seconds. Very, very useful. Liquid Lightning is also something. You plonk this down in the center of your carpet, your Blockade of Storms. It will do damage for the entire blockade's radius, and it spreads out a little bit to the sides. You want to mop everyone up into the center while your Bogdan Temple's going, or Totem, sorry. You plonk this down. The electricity hurts everyone around it. It just deals a little bit of damage. Daedric Mines, I put these down behind my tank. If he's doing like a stationary solitude position, I'll put down Daedric Mines behind him. It's basically a 5k damage burst on a mine, and I put it down behind my tank. So when I put down my blessings and I'm able to run away from a mob of enemies that are after me, I lead them through the mines and it tears them up, and it brings it to the tank's attention, who can then trigger them and bring them over to him. Force Pulse. This is very handy with the spell critical. At the moment, when it's not critical, it does around like 3.5k. You pull someone with it, it does a lot of damage. Because my critical rating is at the point where it is, every pulse that I do is a critical in some way. So I can get this to do 9k normally, on like a lucky shot normally. 9k damage, constantly spamming out. It's super cheap, very effective at bursting down mini bosses mainly. And the last thing, Dark Conversion, I have Thunderous Rage. This is my second backup ultimate. It takes a little bit more than Suppression Field, but I think it's worth it. So you put it down, it has a 2-second delay, and for every second, for 9 seconds, it does 5k damage in a huge target area. This is incredibly helpful around a boss. If there's ads that he spawns, or if your team's just getting hoarded down an alleyway or something, you plunk this down, it bursts everyone inside, enough so that you can kind of just walk through after the 9 seconds. If it's something a little bit more healthy, like a mini boss, a regular boss or something like this, because you're going with lightning, you also get an extra 2 seconds, which adds up to like 11k damage, just hurting someone extra, which is always nice. Now, for champion points, that's kind of up to your personal opinion. I, at the moment, don't have a lot of my champion points spent. I'm trying to get to 690 and then figure out what to do with them. My guess would probably go with Bastion to get the armor shield for fire, very high. Elfborn for critical, and then whatever you want in the Thief Stone. That's just kind of your thing. And passives, I pick up every single passive I have. That's just me. Spend all my skill points that I have lying around in passives. Now, that's it kind of for the build. The thing I would recommend this mostly for is players who are new to ESO and want to get into a supportive role, healing, but also want to be able to do damage when they're solo playing or doing quests or something. I'd recommend it for questing, normal dungeons, veteran dungeons, Cyrodiil if you can find a way to work around a lot of stuns. And I would also maybe recommend normal veteran, normal Dragonstar Arena, God, not veteran, normal Dragonstar Arena. It would work up to the 3rd arena, otherwise it kind of falls off. The damage becomes too steep. There's no debuff removing in this build. So say someone's got poison gas and it melts through them, you're just not going to be able to help them. But that's it for the build. I hope you enjoyed. Fuck you.